Hello, I'm Sayeed Choudhury from the Sheridan Libraries at Johns Hopkins University. I'm also the leader of the Data Conservancy, a community that develops solutions for data preservation and sharing to promote cross-disciplinary reuse and discovery. Within the past few years, we've seen the realization of the so-called data deluge. Data are now produced with scale and complexity that have generated new possibilities, but also new challenges associated with long-term management. The Council on Library and Information Resources has played a leadership role in raising awareness and building capacity within our community to address these important challenges. One of the most important and fundamental challenges relates to a shared understanding of data curation. There are different definitions and beliefs regarding what constitutes data curation. To some degree, this is healthy because our community is still building up an overall sense of understanding and capacity. Organizations like the Graduate School of Library and Information Science at the University of Illinois or the Digital Curation Center in the UK have undertaken systematic studies that have resulted in well-stated or cited definitions. In other cases, community still believes that data curation is an evolving concept based on actual experience or practice using data. At Johns Hopkins University, we are developing a data management layer stack model that attempts to define and delineate the concepts, including data curation. Our model is not intended to be the definitive statement, but rather our attempt to synthesize the findings through a dedicated research and development program of the Data Conservancy and an associated operational or service environment through the Johns Hopkins University Data Management Services. This model attempts to articulate the differences and connections between storage, archiving, preservation, and curation, terms that are often used interchangeably, resulting in confusion or ambiguity. This stack model has been useful in our own dealings with Johns Hopkins researchers who often make assumptions about their own understanding or capacity with data management. The model allows us to conduct a deep, rigorous interview with clarity and help the researchers understand the implications of their choices and decisions, particularly as they relate to the National Science Foundation Data Management Plan requirement. The model depicts 4 layers of data management with storage at the bottom of the stack. Moving up the stack are archiving, preservation, and curation. There is an explicit hierarchy of these layers in the sense that storage is necessary but not sufficient for archiving. Similarly, archiving is necessary but not sufficient for preservation, and so on. Each of the layers above builds upon the layers below. For storage, we mean literally bits on disk or tape or in the cloud with backup and restore services. With archiving, we move to the concepts and practices of data protection, including replication, fixity, and identifiers. Preservation is perhaps the term most often cited loosely or without strict definition. Frameworks such as the Open Archival Information System can provide a useful reference model to discuss concepts of preservation. For our stack model, by preservation we mean the policy framework, metadata, context, and representation information, and a set of actions that ensure reuse of the data for the long term, noting that the long term could be as little as 5 years with digital data. Fundamentally, a good test of successful preservation is whether someone, or some machine, can reuse the data in the future or a different context without contacting the original data producer. At the top of the stack model is curation, which we define as adding value to the data or reuse of the data. Within the Data Conservancy, we have developed the framework and capabilities for automated metadata extraction and provenance tracking as examples of data curation. This model conveys the message that data curation is part of an overall process of data management, represented as a set of integrated and comprehensive activities. Data Conservancy is building infrastructure to address the entire stack, but it isn't necessary for any single institution or system to do so. Your institution may focus on one particular layer or even a subset of capabilities within one layer. But it's important to recognize the interconnected nature of these layers so we can avoid fragmentation or silos. Your institution may be providing storage services which are helpful and necessary. However, if those storage services make it harder to archive, preserve, or curate the data, then we have potential long-term problems or issues. It's encouraging to note the growing interest within our community related to data management. CLIR offers a rich set of resources and programs with which you can help build up your understanding and awareness of the needs, issues, and capabilities. Finally, there's an imperative to help our scholars with their data management needs. We have already lost important data because of the lack of both human and technology infrastructure. If we are to avoid a digital dark age, each of us must understand the needs and identify a means through which we can contribute so that a future generation of scholars can benefit from today's scholarship.